Welcome back to IAS Net Study. This is the ethics series, and in this ethics series, this is the 18th video. We were discussing third unit aptitude, and in this unit, we were talking about foundational values. We had a detailed discussion regarding around 5 or 6 foundational values. Most probably, probability we have not discussed, but this particular probability, there is a separate unit where there we are going to have a detailed discussion. Apart from probability, all other values which are mentioned in the second ARC 10th report, we had a detailed discussion. We talked about significance, we talked about challenges, we talked about how to inculcate all these aspects. Now we are going to take a few more values which are necessary for civil services, which are necessary for public services. See, we are going to have a very brief discussion on these topics. See, one thing is there is a time constraint. We are going to have a brief introduction of around 15 values here. If we allot the same thing, it is going to take a lot of time, and even you have to spend, as a student of ethics, you have to spend a lot of time to understand this. And another aspect is, since we have covered around 5 values, the same thing can be replicated on these values also. It is a similar thing. You have to change bits and pieces to accommodate with respect to this particular value. So already fodder material is there. All you have to do is very intelligently uh, use that particular data fodder material for these values. So that is the reason we are going to take up in a very brief explanation with respect to other rest of the values here. So let's get into the discussion of other values. In the first discussion, we are clubbing 3 values together: courage, fearlessness, and fortitude. If you look at it, it sounds similar, all the 3 values, but there is a subtle difference, there is a subtle distinction between all the 3. So let's talk about courage first. What is courage? Courage, it is a moral strength, and this moral strength is to stand for a truth. This moral strength is to stand for a values here. See, this courage is from individual perspective, is from social perspective, and if I am a civil servant, we have to see it from a civil service perspective. For individual level, I have to stand for my value system, but from a civil service perspective, I have to stand for a constitutional morality. So I have certain constitutional duties, and I have to fulfill those duties. And this moral strength, it is going to strengthen, it is going to empower me, it is going to strengthen me to fulfill these constitutional duties. See, this is not as simple. It's not just a moral strength. This is moral strength against an opposition. There is an opposition, but still you stand for a cause, but still you stand for a particular person. So if there is, even at the face of opposition, even if there is a negative criticism, even for from a political perspective, there is a populist mandate against your stand, still you stand for a truth, because that is, you stand for a reason, because that is truth. And even for a, even at the personal risk. So this is courage. It is a moral strength to stand for a reason. Next comes fearlessness. Fearlessness, it is a state of mind. So I have the factor of fearlessness. It means that me being an individual, I am not paralyzed by fear of criticism, fear of loss, fear of punishment, fear of uncertainty. I have the state of mind. It means that I can take my decision. So I don't have any irrational fear. Fearlessness, it is an state where there is an absence of irrational fear. It is not rational fear. You have to remember, irrational fear. And then confidence. If I have this attitude of fearlessness, then I have confidence in my values and in my capabilities. I can stand for my values. I can stand for my abilities. Then fearlessness gives me, since I am not afraid of anybody and anything which is illegal or unethical or any irrational things, then I get that emotional stability. I get that mental stability. And when you have fearlessness, you know that if I have fearlessness, then I know that I can handle this situation. When I have this confidence, then I can handle the situation with utter calmness. So I don't care how other person is reacting. I know myself. I have this emotional mental stability, so I am calm even during the crisis. When I am calm, handling crisis management, disaster management capabilities will be extremely well in my hands. And then, see, willingness to accept consequences of ethical action. Even something goes wrong, I have that fearlessness attitude, factor of fearless. I still accept the consequences, even the consequence is not what I expected. So these are the various attributes of fearlessness. Now, what is the distinction from courage and fearlessness? Courage is momentary in nature. There is a situation where you have to make a decision. In that particular situation, or there is a person in front of you, you have to handle that person. In that particular situation, it is a momentary in nature. At that point of time, you need some courage to handle that situation. So this is a value, this is required at that particular moment. Whereas fearlessness is that it is in your attitude, it has become one of your attributes, where fearlessness is in your character, it is long lasting, it is in your character. So this is the subtle difference between fearlessness and the courage. See, when you have this attitude of fearlessness, eventually it gives that boost to your courage factor. Now let's see the difference. Here, courage is acting despite fear. See, courage, even I am, there is a snake in front of me, I am afraid of snake, but still I am going to take some action. So that is courage. At that moment I need some action to get rid of that snake in my path. So it is acting despite fear. Courage does not mean that I don't have fear, but my courage is going to overpower my fear. So this is courage. And fearless is that absence of fear, or you can control your fear. So fearlessness, it is a state of mind where you can control your fear, or there is a, you can say, absence of fear. And here it is a deliberate choice. I told you that at particular situation there is a snake, you have to go ahead, but snake is there, so you have to make a choice. So if you have a courage, you are going to do something with the snake, and you are going to go ahead. So it is a deliberate choice. But fearlessness, it is a state of mind. So it is there, it as an attribute in you. And then courage is a context specific, there is a particular context I have to showcase my courage. But fearlessness is that it is my quality, it is my attribute, a stable inner quality. And courage, it requires, I told you that courage is a moral strength, it requires moral conviction. But where fearless is that when you control your emotion, then that is, you can channelize those emotion into the factor of fearlessness. So it requires emotional strength. So same thing, the snake example, you can consider that. And another example is that from a civil service perspective, you can talk about TN Session. TN Session, he was a chief election commissioner, and he did a lot of electoral reforms, but a lot of political pressure was there. Even there is a factor of fear factor, the politicians try to induce the fear of fear, the factor of fear in the election commissioner, even other the staff of the people who are working in the election commission. But still he stood very strong, Mr. TN Session. So this is one of the examples from a civil service perspective. And also the Shah commission, they gave a report on emergency, the Indira Gandhi imposed emergency. And in that Shah commission, he has mentioned, the commission has mentioned that the order has been given. The administration, sorry, the political leadership has had taken a decision that we are going to go for an emergency implementation. But here, since it is unethical, or orders given by political leadership were not questioned by civil servants at that point of time. Whatever the political leadership gave the order, the civil servant or the administrators, they've received it and they followed it. Even though it was illegal, even though it was unethical, they still followed it. Even though it goes against constitutional morality, they acted against it. Why did this happen? Because there is a lack of courage. Those officers were not having that courage, so they were not having that factor of fearlessness, so they said okay to whatever the leadership told them to do. So this is mentioned in the Shah commission. And then German Nazi war, the Holocaust, the Jews Holocaust, again the order is given by Hitler, but the thing is, the officers or the soldiers who were implemented his decision, some of them, they knew that this is a wrong decision. To take this reckless action against a very big chunk of particular community, it's anti-human and this is illegal, this is unethical, they knew it, but still they followed the orders. Here also, because of the lack of courage and fearlessness, they could able to cause this massive destruction. So this happened because there was a lack of courage and fearlessness in the administration, in the public servants, in the civil servants, right? So this is fearlessness. And fearlessness, don't consider it as something recklessness or obstructionist. No, as long as it is under the boundary of legality and ethical moral framework, then it is fine. You can showcase your courage, you can showcase your fearlessness, but make sure that your courage or the fearlessness, it is not obstructing the administration. That caution should be there. And why is it important? See, if I am an administrator and if I have this factor of courage and fearlessness, then I can take the tough decision because I am not worried about what other people thinks, what political leadership thinks. I am really not bothered about it. My affiliation is only to constitution and I am going to follow that. So I can take tough decision even the decisions are unpopular, and I can stand against the irregular act. If I have that courage, then I can question the political leadership, I can question my colleagues, I can question my juniors also. So I can stand up against the irregular act. And also it helps in speedy decision making. See, if I don't have courage, if I have to make a decision, I am going to think from a different perspective. What exactly the political leadership is going to say, what exactly people are going to react, how exactly media is going to react, all these things I am going to think about. But if I have the factor of courage and fearlessness, then I don't care all these things. I have taken oath to the constitution of India and I fulfill that oath. Rest of the thing, it does not bother to me. Salary, government is giving me salary to fulfill my oath and I'm going to do that. Rest of the thing, if people talk about me in a negative way, or a political leadership transfer me to some other post, or media writes about something bad about me, I don't care, as long as I am correct, as long as I am following the legal methodology, as long as I am objective, right? This is another importance. And the fearless officers, they are not going to succumb to the political bias, the political neutrality. If I am courage, then I'm going to say no to the politician. So the political neutrality, political biasness, political neutrality can be maintained and political biasness can be eliminated. This is one thing. And courage, it does not mean that physical courage, even intellectual courage also. What exactly intellectual courage? If an officer has intellectual courage, then he is going to experiment with new models, challenge outdated procedure. It means that the new officer will be innovative. The example of Armstrong Pay, the Manipur experiment, where he wanted to build a road, but the government funding, he could not able to get the funding from the government. What he did is he find an innovative way to construct the road, and finally he constructed the road with the people's money, where he had that intellectual courage, so he could able to mobilize the funds and he could able to develop the infrastructure. So intellectual courage also, it leads to the excellence, it leads to the innovation, right? So this is why courage, fearlessness, this is important in public service. Now the extension of these two concepts, it is fortitude. Fortitude, again, it is also display of courage. Courage is momentary. Again, fortitude is also display of this courage. But here, what you have to notice is, in a difficult situation, there are extreme adversary in front of you, but still you are going to stand for a cause. Courage is that your moral strength to stand for a particular cause. But here in fortitude, along with that, there is a difficult situation. So difficult situation is in front of you. You know that there is an adversary, but still you are going to take that decision, even though you know that you are going to have some kind of risk by doing that, but still you are going to follow that. So this is fortitude. So again, this is an inner strength to endure hardship, overcome obstacles, and persevere in the pursuit of duty and ethical values. And this is extremely important for civil service. The same thing, the importance of courage, fearlessness, the same thing here, the same aspect, the same pointers, you can write it for fortitude also. See, the if an civil servant, he has an attitude of fortitude, then he is not going to give up. I know that me being an administrator, there are so many issues, but still, my affiliation is to the country, is to the constitution. So I am here for the welfare of the people. So I'm not going to give up just because I am being questioned by political leadership. I am being questioned by public here. As long as it is legitimate, as long as it is ethical, as long as I am following the objective intention or being fair, then I'm not going to give up. Even if there is a resistance, the systemic resistance, the bureaucratic obstacles, I still do it. Even if there is a political pressure, I'm going to do it. Even with a public criticism, I'm going to do it. And another aspect is resource constraint is also another reason. I want to do it, but there is no infrastructural support. Even with a resource constraint, also, if I have that fortitude, I will find a way, I will innovate some way to fulfill my commitment. So even if in the face of uncertainty, I make sure that my reason is going to be implemented, or I am going to stand for a cause in front of all these adversities. So courage, momentary; fearlessness, state of mind; fortitude is also courage. It is long term courage. So it is long term courage to remain strong in adversities and continue doing the right thing, right? This is with respect to fortitude. Next, the difference between fortitude and courage. Here, Courage is that acting bravely in the face of an immediate threat, like a sneak example, you can say at that particular moment you have to take a decision. So that is courage. Here, continuing to act ethically over a long period despite hardship. You are an IAS officer, and that area MLA, he's continuously harassing you, or he's trying to manipulate you. In despite of all this pressure and the manipulation tactics, you still stand for a cause. You still stand for a right reason. That is fortitude. And courage is momentary. It is momentary strength you get it to handle the situation. Where here it is not momentary, there's a sustained long-term courage. So it needs strength. The sustained strength is required with respect to fortitude. And courage, yes, courage, it requires bold action. At that moment, it requires, at that moment you have to take a bold action. But here, fortitude is that it needs patience, perseverance, because it is a long term. You have to focus your energy in the long term. So it requires patience and endurance. Endurance is that you can uh, even if there is a hardship for a very long time, you can handle it. So this is often, it requires patience, perseverance, and endurance. And examples here, there is a riot, you are a civil servant and you have to stop it. For that you need that immediate or momentary courage. But here you are leading a relief operations for months together, so it is going to the disaster management, it is going on there for very long time. In order to sustain that enthusiasm, or in order to sustain that risk and adversaries, you need to have that fortitude. So this is with respect to fortitude. So we talked about courage, we talked about fearlessness, and we talked about fortitude, right? Let's move to the next one. The next one is altruism. What is altruism? Altruism is that I have that genuine intention to help somebody else, and here I genuinely care for somebody else's welfare. So it's an act to promote someone else's welfare. But if there is, in that process of helping you, there is a risk for me, there is a cost in my, in particularly at myself. So even though I have that genuine intention to help you, so I know that one thing, I have that intention and I'm going to help you also, but in that journey there is a risk. But still, even after knowing that there is a risk, I still do it. That is altruism. I'm not expecting anything from it. One thing, I'm not expecting anything in return. I have that genuine intention to help other person, and even after knowing that there is a risk, there is a responsibility, I still going to do it. This is altruism. Here it is a selfless concern for the well-being of others, where individual help someone without expecting any reward. I want to help you. That is my intention. I'm not expecting in return. I'm not expecting any appreciation. I'm not expecting any praise or any recognition or any type of personal benefit here. It is the genuine intention I have in my heart. I want to help people, and in that, I make sure that my commitment is selfless, and I want to give my 100%, and I don't care what other people say, or if they recognize me, or if they promote me, or if they're kind of some kind of appreciation. It does not matter to me. You can give an example of soldiers also, even they don't recognize, their commitment is to the country. Altruism. And also another example could be a blood donations. Usually a blood donation camp, people go and donate the blood, they don't expect in return, they don't get the money, they don't get the people recognition, nothing. And it's not even a big deal. It's an act of one genuine act. This genuine act has a deeper help for the people who are in that emergency situation. So blood donations can be related to altruism, but because the person who is donating the blood is not expecting anything in return, neither recognition nor money or not respect, nothing is that. There is a genuine intention. He knows that my blood is going to save somebody's life. So it is something I am giving back to the society, something I am helping the humanity. So this is the altruism. And the value of altruism serves an intrinsic motivator for civil servants. See, all the values what we are going to discuss, you need to connect it to the civil service. So here, for a civil servant, this particular value is extremely important, because altruism, if you have this genuine intention, even though in the outer, as an administrator, you are helping, even though there is a risk, there are obstacles from external world, but you still will be committed for the cause. So even when external incentives are not present, there is no recognition, and there is no incentive, in turn there is a risk, but still you do it because you have the value of you altruism. You have that attribute of altruism within you. So in public service, altruism refers to the deep commitment to the welfare of the society. You have that deep commitment. I have taken this job to help people and I am going to help people. So this is what the intention is. And your commitment is to the vulnerable section, your commitment is to the weaker section, your commitment is to the marginalized section of the society. And it goes beyond routine duty. See, regular duty, you do it every day, you go to office, all these things, but altruism is beyond that. Genuinely you want to help people, so it involves voluntary undertaking action that enhance others quality of life. So your actions are directly going to impact the lives of others. So as an example, you can write the blood donations, right? This is with respect to altruism, right? I hope you understood. Let's move to the next value. The next value is patience. What exactly the basic? First we'll see the basic meaning of patience, then we are going to connect it to the civil services. Finally, let's take up one example, so that would be sufficient. So patience is that you have certain goal, you have certain aim in your life, right? You have certain aim in that, you want to achieve this aim, you want to achieve this goal. Now in that journey, whatever the hardship you face, whatever the obstacles you face, you maintain that course of action. You want to clear this examination, and in that between that there are so many hardship, maybe financial hardship, psychological hardships, and you could not able to concentrate. So many hardships are there, but still the course of action is important, the goal is important. You make sure that you are continue in that journey, in that course of action set out by reason. So this is patience. So there is a goal and you want to achieve that goal. So in that journey, whatever the obstacle, whatever the obstacles, hardships you face, it does not bother you. You keep on moving towards in that direction because there is a cause is that you want to become an officer, you want to serve the people, that is the reason. So in that course you are going to move, that is the patience here. And patience, if you have this patience, you are going to remain calm, you are going to remain composed, you are going to remain persistent. Because when you have this attitude of patience, you know that there will be hardship, and even when the hardship comes, when the obstacle comes, you don't bother actually, because your focus is on the ultimate goal. Your focus is only to clear the examination. Whatever the rest of the things, your relatives are commenting on you, your friends are commenting on your journey, and they're telling, constantly telling that you did not clear, it's been a third attempt, fourth attempt, you did not clear prelims. They're again and again they are telling that, and people are mocking. Your friends have cleared and they've moved on. Everything, you are committed for a reason, and in that journey you remain calm because you know your goal. Your goal is that, and you are focusing on your goal only. You are calm, you are composed, and you are persistent, and consistently you are putting your effort. And see, all these things, I know that there will be delays, there will be challenges, and there will be difficult situations. So you remain calm, composed, persistent, even with delays, even with challenges, and or even with a complex or difficult situation. See what exactly it shows. It shows emotional maturity. It shows self-regulation, and these self-regulation, emotional maturity, it makes sure that you are not reacting anything impulsively. When you have this patience, you are calm, and your reaction to other person, it's very quiet. It is composed, and there will not be any impulsive reaction. So you control your emotions. There is a emotional maturity, there is a self-regulation. Now is it important for a civil servant? Yes, it is very important for a civil servant, because you are handling diverse population, from a political leadership, from colleagues, from your office staff, to the public. The viewpoints are different, the expectations are different. Now how do you handle that? If you don't have patience, you are going to burst out, and the clash between your personal life and your the professional life, it is going to create a lot of trouble. So having patience, it makes sure you are calm, you are emotionally stable. So patience is also very important value system. It is extremely important for a public service. So in public service, patience is critical virtue, because administrators often work with diverse stakeholders, complex procedures, and slow moving systems. Something which are in your hands, you can control it, but there are some things which are not in your hands, whether it is infrastructure, human resources, or the pressure from outside, that is not in your control. So how do you deal with that? When you don't have patience, you are going to break down, or you are going to lose your temper. So this is what happens. So patience is another very important virtue, extremely important for public service or the civil service in our country. Or examples, you can give this example, the we talked about civil servant, and another example could be Thomas Alva Edison, who invented the electric bulb. See, before inventing, he failed 1000 times. imagine the level of perseverance, imagine the level of patience. 1000 times he failed, but still he keep on moving, and finally he invented the electric bulb. So this example you can write it, and you can write it any um, uh, administrator example also, and even freedom fighters life also. The patience, the factor of patience was there, and they followed satyagraha, they followed non-violence methodology to attain independence to the country. That also you can write it in your example. So this is with respect to patience. Now let's move to the next value, spirit of service. Spirit of service, you can connect it to the dedication. Dedication. Dedication to the for the welfare of the people. So you can connect it. It's the same concept. Here, spirit of service, it means that you are committed for a particular cause. Being a civil servant, what is your commitment? Your commitment is to welfare of the people. Your commitment is to serve the public good here. So it is prioritizing the need of community about personal interest. If I have this dedication, if I have this factor of spirit of service, for me, I am a if I am a soldier, it is the country. My first priority is the country beyond my individual body. See, even I'm ready to sacrifice my body or my life for the country. So that is the spirit of service, that is the commitment, that is the dedication. It's initially it's commitment, then the dedication, then comes spirit of service, right? And it's about dedicating oneself to the public service with selfless attitude, free from any desire for personal gain, recognition. The spirit is important for ethical governance. This is extremely important for ethical governance. As an example, especially you in general soldiers you can write, but even if you go one step further, you can give an example of soldiers who are stationed in Siachen Glacier. You know the environmental hardship the Siachen Glacier has, and still there are so many soldiers, Indian army or various uh, even air force, they are stationed there, and they are protecting the Siachen Glacier. Here, see, whatever the money you offer them or whatever the recognition you offer them, it's beyond all these things. If I have the genuine intention to serve the country, if I have the core patriotic tendency, then only you can serve in these kind of harsh situation. And what is the salary of a person who is of the soldier who is stationed in a Siachen? And if you give other people maybe three times the salary, they are not ready to go there, and they are not going to stay there for a long time. Here it is not the money, it is not the recognition, it is beyond it, because these people have the spirit of service, and the spirit is for the country, the spirit is for the people of the is for the nation here. So that is spirit of service here. So it is a selfless attitude towards the country. Then next value is trustworthiness. Trustworthiness, it means that I can trust you. When can I trust you? It means that I have told you something and you keep those things within yourself. In general terms, I'm telling you. Or you told me that you will do something. You told me that I'm going to help you on this day, or I'm going to give you money on this day, and he gave that money on that day only. And whatever I tell you, I am going to fulfill that. It means that there is a reliability, it means that I am being honest, it means that there is a consistency. So trustworthiness is the quality of being reliable, quality of being honest, quality of being consistent. So here that you can trust me because I am reliable, I am honest, I am consistent in my actions, in my decisions. So this is trustworthiness. And see, when can you trust a person? See, where you have certain responsibility and you fulfill that responsibility with honesty, being truthful and being reliable, then I can trust you. It means that I know that if I tell this particular person something, and he's going to do it, and he's not going to lie, or he's not going to find a reason to escape it. So this is the trustworthiness, I can trust this person. So this is, in general, this is trustworthiness. Then why do we need this in public services? This is extremely important because a trustworthy officer is going to uphold the commitment. I am commit My commitment is to the Constitution of India, and I'm going to fulfill my commitment. I've taken oath for the to work for the country, to for the upliftment of weaker section and vulnerable section. Then I'm going to fulfill my commitment. And if I am trustworthy officer, then I am going to give accurate information. I'm not going to manipulate anything, I'm going to give the accurate information, and I'm going to maintain confidentiality whenever it is required. So when this happens, people develop trust in the administration. When there is a trust in the administration, there will be citizen partnership, sorry, participation, sorry, citizen participation in the administration. So citizen centric administration can be expected with the factor of or the value of trustworthiness, right? One of the examples is Lal Bahadur Shastri. He was a railway minister, and there was a train accident, and after this incident he resigned from this post of railway ministry. See, he is not directly responsible, but he has that accountability factor. Since he is a minister, he has to take that responsibility, and because of this act, uh, he told that I am accountable for this, I am responsible for it, and I am ready to resign my post, so that let other person comes who is better than you can handle these things. By doing this act of accountability, it earned public trust. So it also shows that trustworthiness in the leadership, it also shows that ethical leadership, right? This is one of the examples. Now, the next value is temperance. Temperance, it is in a general term restraint, or it is moderation, or it is voluntary self restraint. So, it is the virtue of self restraint, it is moderation, controlling one desires, impulses, or emotion. It means that not overdoing anything, whether it is your desire, anything, there is a self restraint, there is a moderation in everything. So if I have this act of temperance, then I will be having balance in my thoughts, I will be having balance in my action, and even in my behavior I will not be having any impulse behavior. So I can, temperance is restraint. It is not only restricted to my external restraint, it is restricted to internal restraint also. Internal restraint is what? Overthinking, or over evaluating, over judging, because this is going to impact my attitude, and this is going to impact my behavior. So you know this, remember this value, attitude, behavior, this link. So if I don't have temperance in my belief system, this is going to impact my behavior. The same thing at individual level, and you can see it from an administration level also. So it enables individual to maintain balance in thoughts, action, and behavior. The temperate officer, the officer with attribute of temperance, he's going to avoid extreme reactions. So he knows that where to stand, where to maintain that balance. So extreme reaction, excess control, exercises control over anger or frustration. Even if I am angry, but if I have the value of temperance, I know how to showcase my anger. It is not the outburst. Anger, it can be channelized for something constructive. So if I have this temperance, I can control my emotion, I can maintain that self restraint, I can handle the situation really well, and even personal biases, and remain composed while dealing with criticism or provocation. Even it is not only the criticism, there are so many instances where I've been provoked by the people around me. So even in those kind of situation, the factor of the patience, the factor of temperance comes into the handy. So it helps me to compose myself, to calm myself. So it includes one thing, administration, you know that, and even in personal life also, it is moderation in lifestyle. So it is avoiding extravagance, the overspending, all these things, misuse of official privileges, indulge in harmful habits. Even from the habit level also, temperance plays very important role here. So on the whole, both at the individual level as well as the me being from professional capacity also, temperance plays very important. And temperate officer avoids, we talked about extreme condition, all these things. And as an example, Ashoka, you can give that example of Ashoka after Kalinga war, exercise restraint in conquest and governance, emphasizing dharma. So after the change happened after this Kalinga war, and he showcased that restraint, that value of temperance. The conquests were not extremely brutal as it was before, and he focused on the aspect of dharma. So this is one of the examples for temperance. And the next value is honesty. Honesty, what exactly honesty? Honesty is being truthful, honesty is being sincere. I'm not lying, I am truthful, I am sincere in my actions, I am sincere in my conduct, I am sincere the whatever I speak. So here, when people are honest, they can be relied on not to lie, cheat and steal. Being honest means that you accept yourself, you are. See, from I have certain values, I am an individual with certain attributes. If I am not honest, I showcase as a different individual. You might have seen this in picture that even though the person is very poor, or person is very corrupt, but he showcase in front of everybody that he's very honest and all these things. This is what happened with a dishonest person. If a person is honest, whatever it is, this is what I am, this is how I will be in front of the people, this is me in reality, this is me when nobody is watching, this is me when everybody is watching, I'm the same person. So if I am honest, so I am okay with in front of other people, and I will let other people to accept me the way I am. So when you are open and trustworthy, others can believe you. So when you are honest, the trust factor develop, and again this is going to the acceptance factor will be there. People know this is you, even though you have negative character also, negative attributes also, people know that this is you, not manipulative. Whether I can be friends with him or not, even though there are negative attributes, negative character, but still I can be friends with him because I know the real person he is. But there is another person who is very sweet and always kind, showcasing only the good part of the person, but in general you could not able to analyze the real personality of a person because he's hiding it. There is a clear dishonesty. The same thing, this honesty dishonesty, if there is in public administration, again the dishonest person, he's going to manipulate or he's going to misuse the administration, and he's not going to bother for the welfare of the public. So for civil servant, honesty means presenting accurate information, acknowledging limitations, reporting irregularity, refusing to participate or tolerate corruption. When you are honest, obviously you are not going to indulge in any of these illegal unethical acts, so you are going to maintain that uprightness. So for us civil servant, it is extremely important attribute because honesty leads to integrity. When you have integrity, this leads to the attribute of probity. So there is a chain link factor. Honesty leads to being truthful. When there is a truthfulness, you are reliable. Reliability means that accountability and responsibility factor will be there. When you have this accountability and responsibility, then the factor of integrity, and this factor of integrity leads to the factor of probity, right? So honest officer is not going to manipulate data, is not going to hide facts to impress superiors, is not going to mislead citizens or misuse authority for personal gains. So honesty is another important value, very much important for public administration. Then next is truthfulness. Truthfulness in a simple definition, you can say that not telling lie from a simple perspective, but it is not just not lying, it is much beyond that. So truthfulness is a commitment to speak, act, uphold the truth in all circumstances. Even though there are adversities, you still stick on to the truth. So there is a commitment to speak truth, to act truthfully, even the act truth. Not only that is the reason I told you that it is not just merely, sorry, avoiding lies, it is beyond that. You have to speak truth, your behavior, truthful behavior, and you have to uphold the truth even through your conduct also. So it involves presenting facts accurately. See, even though I'll tell you one thing, even though you can tell the truth, but you still can manipulate the truth. You can tell the truth in a way that it looks like a lie. See, these all the things you can, it means that you can manipulate the things. But when you have the genuine attribute of truthfulness, you tell the truth, you uphold the truth, and you follow in that conduct. So it is not merely avoiding the lies, it is beyond that, it is much beyond that. It is presenting the truth accurately, it is acknowledging realities honestly. So that is with respect to truth. And another aspect of truthfulness is that one thing is I am true to myself and I am true to yours. It means that what I am, I have accepted what I am true to myself. I am something else, I am corrupt, but I convince myself that I am a very honest officer. I convince myself giving the reasons that, see, everybody in my office, it's a corrupt. So it does not make a difference whether I take money or not. Or else, my corruption, it is very much. I take only 500 rupees. Others take 1 lakh rupees. My corruption, it is very petty corruption. It is very small corruption. It is not going to harm the country, harm the administration. This is what clarifications I am giving. See, this is not truthful. I am non-corrupt, accept it, you're non-corrupt. Convincing him in a different, painting it from a different brush, this becomes lie actually. So being true to yourself, what you think, what you follow, what you act. So being true to yourself, and also being true to others. What you are, just showcase the way you are. You are one person, you're portraying as a some other person. You have extreme anger issues, but in front of other people, you showcase yourself as a very calm and composed person. See, this is again manipulating. This is being deceptive. You are manipulating information, so you're not being true to others. So this is what truthfulness. It is not just related to telling truth, it is beyond that. And for the civil servant, it matters a lot. The reason is that a truthful civil servant is not going to distort the facts to please superior. He's not going to hide to avoid accountability. If I have the factor of truthfulness, I will be accountable for my actions and I take responsibility for my actions. So again, if I'm a truthful civil servant, then I am not going to mislead the public for personal or political gain. Instead, if I have the value of truthfulness, I am going to communicate transparently. I am going to reveal the relevant facts, even if it is uncomfortable. Even ensure that decisions are, and whatever I say, make sure that it is objective. Decisions are based on real verified information, right? So truthfulness, basic understanding, and from a perspective of civil services. And another aspect is, as an example, you can give an example of Mahatma Gandhi, where he equated truth to the god. I think, yeah, he equated Satya as a god. Satyagraha, the main component of the important teachings of Mahatma Gandhi, it is Satyagraha. It is, he equated truth to the god. So truthfulness, you can give other examples, real life examples also. And truthful people, see, and if a person is a truthful, if I am truthful, then I understand myself properly. I am truthful, that I am not convincing myself that what I am not. So I can understand myself uh, clearly. When I understand myself clearly, I know that what are my strengths and what are my weakness. If I am just manipulating others, I start manipulating myself, then I am ignoring all these aspects. So in order to understand my own strength and weaknesses, so I need to be truthful first, then only I can understand myself. And see, they will not delude themselves about their success or failure. Again, see, I'm thinking that I'm a successful in my life, but the thing is, in reality, it is not the thing, because I am deceiving myself. I'm not accepting what the reality is. This is what happens. You don't understand yourself. Then next, present themselves in a way that shows who they are. Again, one thing, I am accepting what I am, and I should let you understand what I am. So I should not manipulate myself in front of you. I should stand the way I am. So the reputation will be founded on what they are. Now, if you know me, then you analyze me properly, and my reputation is real. And whether it is public or private, it will be the same. And meet any commitment or compromises they make. If I am truthful, whatever the commitment I make as a civil servant, I am going to uphold it. As a politician, I am going to uphold it. I'm not going to manipulate it. I'm not going to twist the fact, twist these, whatever I said in a different perspective, and escape from the situation. This is not going to happen. I am going to fulfill my commitment, whatever I have uh, whatever the promises I have made, and be accurate in their description of themselves and to others. What you are, what is the same thing, so that they do not mislead others. Example, Gandhi, you can give that. So this is with respect to truthfulness. And let's see the next value. The next value is prudence. Prudence, in a simple word, I can say being cautious. So prudence is a virtue of wise judgment, careful decision making. Here you are quite cautious. Before taking a decision, you are going to think of pros and cons, and then only you are going to make a decision. Here you have to see from a two perspective. From an individual perspective, as a value of this prudence, it is being cautious. And again, if you implement this prudence from a civil service perspective, it is extremely important, because it is individual level. It is you and maximum your friend circle or the family members. They are going to impact by the decisions you make, by the actions you take. But in the administration, there will be lakhs of people. You are an administrator of a, you are an IS officer of a particular district. Whatever the decisions you take, it is going to impact the very large sections of the people. The public are going to be impacted. So if a person, if a civil servant has this factor of prudence, or the attribute of prudence, that is going to be a very big help, not only for the civil servant, but also entire public here. See, in public service, prudence is essential, because administrators deal with complex situation, competing interests, and long-term impact. If you have this prudence, if you have this cautious factor, every single step of yours, you are going to question it, you are going to analyze it. A prudent civil servant gathers accurate information, consults stakeholders, evaluates risk, weighs alternative, anticipates consequences before acting. So I am conscious, I make sure everything is perfect before taking a decision. I make sure I contact with all the stakeholders before making a decision, because I get to know the what are the pros and cons. So being cautious is going to be extremely helpful in civil service, in public service. So this prudence prevents hasty decision, one thing, and that may result eventually. What happens if you take hasty decision, it will lead to unfairness, it will lead to injustice, and eventually that will lead to the loss of public trust. The trust deficit factor, it is going to increase, or eventually administrative apathy or administrative failure can be expected, right? Prudence as an example, conscious decision making, you can give it as a parliamentary decision making. I'll, if the bill has to be passed, both the houses, there will be discussion, there will be vote on that. All these, the series of that you must have read it in polity, the series of these verifications, discussions, debates, it is a conscious, it's nothing but conscious decision making. So example, parliamentary discussions you can make, or passing a bill, making an act, budget, all these things comes under the act of prudence. Next is forgiveness. Forgiveness, it is voluntary process. It means that I have been hurt from you, and now I am letting it go. I am forgiving you. Here, what happens? It is an intentional. I am forgiving you. It means that I am taking decision on my own. Nobody is influencing me. Nobody is forcing me to forgive. So it is an intentional, voluntary process. I want to forgive you for the acts you have done. So it is an intention. I thought about it. Then it is a voluntary process. There is no external pressure. There is no external manipulation for it. If the manipulation is there, I may tell to your face that you have been forgiven, but genuinely I am not going to forgive you. So forgiveness is a intentional voluntary process where victim undergoes change in feelings and attitude. In my attitude, I've changed my attitude, and I've changed my feelings. My emotions have been changed with respect to this particular incident. So I am letting it go. So here, letting go of negative emotions. Forgiveness is nothing but letting go of negative emotions. If you let go the negative emotions, then there will be change of feeling, there will be change of emotions, there will be change of attitude, right? So eventually what happens, if I have any hatred, any anger, vengefulness, this can be eliminated from me. Actually, it is going to heal me, actually, the forgiveness. So yes, that is it. And forgiveness, it is different from certain other few things. Let's talk about those terminologies also. It is different from condoning. What exactly the condoning is, that it is failing to see action as wrong and in need of forgiveness. See, I am in a situation, I could not able to understand that you did something wrong to me. So that is condoning. Forgiveness is different from that. Here I recognize that you have done wrong to me. I know that very well. So after knowing that, I'm letting it go, that I'm letting that emotion, letting that anger, letting that vengeance go out of my system. So that is for forgiveness. So it is different from condoning, and it is different from excusing also. Excusing is that you in general, people say that excuse me, it means that I have troubled you, please excuse me. But here, not holding offender as responsible for the action. Here it is a change of behavior. If somebody is asking sorry, you are excusing the person. It is just showcased in behavior. In reality, you have not excused that person, you have not forgiven. Forgiven is very stronger term when you compare with the excusing. Again, pardoning also similar, same thing. Person has done something wrong, now you have given that excuse. You have maybe from a legal perspective or a court perspective, you might have seen the judge pardon this particular person for this particular act of a particular crime. Here also, it is also different from pardon. Forgiveness, it's different from pardoning here. And then forgetting, that forgetting, this meaning. And reconciliation is restoration of a relationship. See, forgiveness, it means that I am letting it go. That does not mean that I am going to continue relationship with you. That does not mean that the relationship is going to be reconciled. No, that is not the case. Forgiveness is that genuinely I am letting the negative emotion go out of my system. So that is forgiveness, right? Then, now link it with the civil services. If a officer has this attribute of forgiveness, then that he's if I have this act of forgiveness, then I am not going to react harshly to the criticism. If somebody criticizes me, I take it very calmly, I take it very composedness, because I'm going to forgive that, because I understand that even if one of my colleagues, if he shouts at me, maybe I may not forget, but I forgive because a lot of work pressure is there, and he has. I understand that the situation he is going through, the political leadership is forcing him to do that. So various situation, I understand that, I forgive that. Me being an officer, if I have this act of forgiveness, ultimately my energy can be focused for the welfare of the public. See, if I don't forgive people, what happens in many a times in the administration, these kind of exchange of words happens. So if the exchange of words, if there is a strong emotion connect to it, and if I don't forgive this, I'm not ready to. I'm an IS officer, and there is a IPS officer. There is some kind of tussle is going on. I have told something at some situation, and IPS officer is very angry. So my relationship with IPS is not very good. It means that I am not in a situation. Both of them we cannot see face to face. We are responsible for the law and order administration of the particular district, but in being in that position, we are not talking to each other. We are trying to avoid each other. I am not ready to listen to him, he is not ready to listen to me. If these happens, then who is going to suffer? People are going to suffer, administration is going to suffer. But if I have that act of forgiveness, if other person have act of being officer, if he has that attribute of forgiveness, then it's fine, it does not bother. Our main aim is welfare of the people, so I am going to keep my negative emotions out of it, and I'm going to work for the people. So forgiveness, it plays very important role for the effective conduct of administration. And it maintains healthy environment. And see, if I have this value attribute of forgiveness, then I understand what other person is going through. I know that how difficult other situation, how difficult this particular situation is for the other person. So there will be positive work culture, there will be positive work environment, and it encourages learning from the mistakes, and it promotes collaborative functioning. Examples you can give the European example. See, World War I, World War II, usually the start it's from the European continent only. The within European continent there were two groups, and they were fighting with each other. Later on, other country from a different parts of the world, they've joined, and again it becomes a world war. After the World War, they've realized what they have done wrong. Then there was a genuine forgiveness. After that, they collaborated with each other. Now, if you look at the European, the continent as a continent, they have the Schengen area, they have that free border, open border, these kind of system. Just imagine 70 or 80 years ago, there was a these countries are engaged in world war kind of situation, and there was severe economic destruction, social destruction, psychological the damage, a lot of things were there. Now down the line, it did not even take 70 or 80 years. Within 15 or 20 years, a lot of things have changed. Now it is one among the most developed region. This is because the genuine intention of forgiving each other, they've understood that we have to forget and we have to move ahead. In that way of moving ahead, let us grow together. It should be a win-win situation. So this is what eventually it leads to, forgiveness leads to, right? And the next attribute, it is excellence. What is excellence? Excellence is that doing ordinary things in an extraordinary way. And don't confuse with a perfection. Perfection is that they've given assigned you some task, and they are expecting you to do in that manner, and you do the exactly whatever they are expecting, you do in the same way. But excellent is that you do in your best capacity. There is no standard. You're an administrator, something has been assigned to you, and you do the best possible way. That is excellent. So here, excellent does not mean that you must be perfect. It means that you use your talents, abilities, skills in the best way possible and excel in life. The same thing you can apply to the administration also. So excellent is something achieved through. So it is not achieved through accident. Actually, it's not like one time you become excellent. No, if you want to become a very good cricketer, practice every day. If you want to become a very good painter, if you want to become a very good singer, practice every day. After the years of practice, your 10 years you've been practicing, then you got one song and it became hit. It is not accident. The song becoming hit is an accident, but your talent is not accident. It is an excellence. You have worked so hard these many years, and fruits you have given it. But for people, it looks like it is an accident and one song has changed its life. No, has changed his life. This is not the case here. Excellence is not something achieved through accident, but through consistent effort, consistent practice. And we are what we repeatedly do. And excellence, therefore, is not an act, but it is a habit. You can develop excellence as an habit, through an habit. And an officer who practices excellence goes beyond routine complaints. They innovate. If a officer, if a public servant is considered as excellent in his conduct, he innovate, solve problems creatively. As an example of Armstrong claim, the Manipur, he wanted to construct a road, but he did not get the government funding. So he found out the way to construct this infrastructure. So here it is an act of innovation, because this act of innovation came here because he has that attribute of excellence, right? So work proactively to improve systems rather than merely maintaining them. If I don't have this attribute of excellence, then I'm not going to innovate myself. I am an officer, I'm going to get the salary. So morning I'll come at 9 o'clock, evening I'll go at 5 o'clock. This is 8-hour work, I am done. So this is my commitment, I am done with it. So when I have this factor of excellence, then I want to give my 100%. I want to use my abilities for best purpose, my best qualities for best abilities for the welfare of the public. So this is what excellent. And again, I told you that this is different from perfection. Excellence is an attempt to perform tasks in a best possible way, whereas perfection is definitive 100% right way of doing things. So difference between excellence and perfection. The next attribute is that gratitude. Gratitude, what exactly is gratitude? Gratitude, in a simple terms, it is being thankful or saying thanks for the help you have done or the work you have done. So it is the moral and emotional quality of recognizing, appreciating, and valuing the positive action, support, opportunities I have received. You have helped me, so there is a positive action, there is a positive support from you. Now I am recognizing your help, I am appreciating your help, I am valuing your positive action. Maybe I'm expressing it with just one word, thanks, but intention matters a lot. I have that genuine attribute of gratitude towards you. So this is something positive action, positive attribute inside your heart. This is a moral, emotional quality, and this quality recognize your actions. It recognize your appreciation, quality of appreciation, quality of recognition, and valuing the positive actions, right? And it reflects sense of humility and acknowledgement. See, if I am showing this attitude of gratitude, it means that I have in my heart, I have that sense of humility. I am humbled because you helped me, and I keep it in my heart. I have a great respect for that help. So sense of humility and acknowledgement. It is not that I've received the help, at the same time I recognize your help and I appreciate your help. So sense of humility and acknowledgement that individual achievements are often the result of collective efforts, right? As an example, during corona times, the people voluntarily they help to deal with lockdown and all these things. And after that, administration in Delhi, they've recognized these person and they've given the certificate also, corona warriors. So it is a recognition from the government that thank you so much for your help. They helped without any expectation, and so many NGOs also participated in that process. So this is gratitude. Here they have helped. Gratitude is shown by the government, gratitude is shown by the administration through recognition. So this is gratitude. Now link it with the public administration. See what happens, I am an officer and people, I need some help, people have helped me. So when I showcase this attitude of gratitude to them, I am thankful for their help, so they feel happy and they feel valued. Actually, there, even there might be very small actions from their side, now their actions are positively valued by administration. So next time administration wants something, they are ready to help. Or if what happens, if I don't show this attitude of gratitude, they don't going to respect me. They think that this person is going to take help, neither he is grateful nor he is going to showcase that for our effort or for our action. So next time whenever you need that help, for some, maybe some crisis or from these kind of situation, nobody is going to volunteer or nobody is going to extend their support, because they know that this person is ungrateful. So when that happens at the civil service level, when civil servant, public service, they have this ungrateful attitude, people maintain their distance from the administration. They are not going to participate. There will not be any positive contribution from citizens towards administration. So this is what happens. So gratitude is another important value which is very much necessary for the citizen-centric administration, and it builds harmony even within the teams. It builds harmony, it improves coordination, and it encourages culture of mutual respect, right? And the next value is benevolence. Benevolence, again, I have that genuine intention to help other person. See, this sounds similar with altruism. Altruism is also same thing, that I want to help you, genuine intention to help other person. But in benevolence there is a slight difference. In altruism, even there are some adversities, even I know that if I help you I will be at risk, but still I am going to help you. That is altruism. But benevolence, we don't see this, that risk factor or some kind of obligation. Here somewhere you can tell it as win-win situation. I want to help you, at the same time there is no negative repercussions on me. So this is benevolence. It means that goodwill or disposition to do good with others. It reflects deep sense of kindness, goodwill, genuine desire to help without expecting anything personally. The same thing, altruism also. I want to help you. I have that genuine intention. So I'm going to help you. I'm not expecting in anything in return. So benevolent person not only feels compassion, but also translate that feeling into a meaningful action. I have that genuine intention, and I implement that genuine intention also to help other person, to help uplift individual, to uplift communities if I am into a public service. And civil servant often deal with vulnerable groups: children, elderly, poor, disaster affected family, marginalized communities. So a benevolent officer treats citizens with dignity, listens patiently to their concerns, and makes sincere effort to alleviate their hardship. So if I have this factor of benevolence, then I know that these people are in trouble, I know that they genuinely need help, then I take that positive proactive step to help these vulnerable sections of the society, right? So benevolence also strengthens citizen administration trust. Now I am an administrator, I have that genuine intention to help. Then this is recognized by people. People are going to appreciate it. People know that there is genuine help from the administration, so they also extend their support for the administration. So the citizen administration trust can be enhanced with the factor of benevolence here. And when people feel that officials genuinely care for their welfare, they are more cooperative, respectful, and hopeful, right? So this is with respect to benevolence. Now let's see the difference between benevolence and altruism. So here, benevol altruism, I told you that I want to help people. Benevolence also want to help people, but here it is a selfless action, pure selfless action. But here in the benevolence, intention, goodwill, it's there. It is here also. I'm not expecting anything, but there altruism, it is complete unexpectation of anything in return. But here I have that goodwill, I want to help people. So even if I could not able to help, but still okay, that kind of attitude. And here benevolence, it is a mindset and attitude. But in altruism, it is a behavior. I showcase my I want to help people. Here I have that factor in my heart. Benevolence is that. In altruism, that is showcased in my behavior. A person is hungry, when benevolence, I feel that I really want to do something for these people. The intention, the first spark is benevolence, and I go and get something to help these people. That is altruism. And here benevolence, person the personal sacrifice, it's not there. You usually, it is not necessary in benevolence because it's a genuine intention. But in altruism, usually there will be some kind of sacrifice. You compromise with your comfort, personal comforts, or some kind of sacrifice will be there. And benevolence, expectation may be there. There is a possibility of expectation. But in altruism, no expectation, nothing. I just want to help people, that's it. I'm not expecting anything in return. Here it is more of win-win situation. Let me help this person, and also in that journey, let make my life also better, that kind of thing. And intensity, it's mild to moderate, and very strong and demanding. Benevolence is that. And these are the values. I think there are around 12 or 13 values we had a discussion. And there's a brief discussion, actually. Just understand the basic things and have an example ready for each of these values, so that in examination it will be easier for you. You don't have to think there. So this is with respect to these values. And in the last slide, what we do is, in public service, public servants, civil servants, it is not just the administrative competence, it's beyond that. I told you that why values are important, because there are a lot of loopholes are there, discretionary powers are there, and there will be conflict of interest, there will be ethical dilemma. In order to deal with all these things, you have to handle resources. In order to deal with all these things, only administrative competence is not enough. You need to have certain values, certain positive values, certain foundational values. Competence plus foundational values, that is going to make person efficient civil servant. And here there is a list of some important foundational values that are necessary for a civil servant. I'll just go through with the list because we have already had a discussion of all these things. Integrity. Integrity, it means that strict adherence. There is a rules and regulations, and me being a civil servant, I am integrated to these rules and regulations. Then comes objectivity. So whatever decision I make, I follow the constitutional mandate, I follow the statutory rules and regulation, and my decisions are uh, without any bias and prejudice. And accountability, I am answerable to my actions. When I am liable and answerable to my actions, I am conscious in taking decisions. Then impartiality, being neutral, I am not favoring anybody. And dedication, I am committed, I am genuinely want to help people. So genuine intention, commitment to the work, welfare of the public, welfare of the weaker section of the society. And empathy. Empathy, to understand what other person is going through, and compassion is to take some positive step to help that person. And courage is a moral strength. Even if there is adversities, I am going to showcase this courage to do what is ethically right. And then transparency. So transparency is openness in the government procedures and decision making. Transparency also, accountability, responsibility, transparency, these things, probity, these we are going to discuss further. In the last two chapters, we are going to have a discussion on all these things. Responsiveness. And then competence. Competence is that possession of necessary skills and necessary knowledge that is required for a civil service. So me being a civil servant, I need to have those skills, I need to have those knowledge, right? This is with respect to this video, and this completes the third unit, aptitude. And in the next unit, it's emotional, I think emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence is a very small unit, maybe around 3 videos we can finish it off. Complete complete topics that are mentioned in your fourth unit of emotional intelligence. I'll see you guys in the next video, and thank you so much for listening. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and all the very best for the examinations. So thank you so much.